Welcome back to Shoot Forward. It's a show where we talk shooting jumpers and shooting for takedowns, but most importantly, we're here to shoot the shit.
It's my favorite part of the show, man.
Yeah, I know. It's the best, man. How
Good
you been,
to
bro?
see you. Good to see you. Guys, we're going to cut straight to the chase. No time for dilly-dallying. This is going to be a little bit longer prediction episode today for UFC 322. Guys, I am so excited. This is probably the best card that I've ever witnessed that has been set up. The last card that I remember that was like this hype was probably the Conor Khabib fight. Actually, the first fight that I watched as an MMA fan. But seriously, like I can't think of like a better lineup that I've seen in a long time. I mean, we got two super fights in the main card. The main card itself looks insanely stacked. The prelims look extremely stacked, and we're actually going to cover all of those for you today. Gabe, how excited are you, my man?
Bro, I mean, literally, like, I haven't been this excited for a card. I mean, outside of like UFC 300, was that
Dude,
the one?
even that card,
Was that the one at the? No, what was the one at the Sphere? The Sean O'Malley.
That's the Sean O'Malley Marab one.
Like that one wasn't the crazy spectacle of it. I was excited for, but like it wasn't the quality of fight that I was excited for.
Correct.
For that card in particular, this one, literally, like all 10 of the main card fights and the prelim fights are insane. There's even a couple good early prelim fights. We're not going to get into that just in sake of time. But
the early prelim fights would be a good prelim for most cards. Yeah. And the we're no spoilers, but the Valentina Zhang Weili card or fight that could be its own main card.
It really could.
A female headliner, and I would happily watch that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm extremely intrigued by that fight. But guys, moving swiftly onwards, we're not going to waste any time here. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cody Haddon. Pretty even odds. Minus 155 favorite for Malcolm Wellmaker. And then we got a plus 130 for Cody Haddon. Gabe, do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, to those who are not familiar with Malcolm Wellmaker, he has a really interesting story. So, like, he grew up doing construction. Mm-hmm. And, he would work, like, 10-hour shifts, and then he would finish work. Instead of, like, going back home, sipping on a beer, eating dinner, he would go straight to the gym and train MMA.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the kind of fighter we're dealing with right here. The mentality is, like, super strong. His will to win is like unmatched. He's 10-0 in the UFC. He's 10-0 at MMA for a reason. He's a fast-growing star in the UFC. I can't wait for this fight. I'm not, a huge fan of this Cody Haddon guy, but if I were to put my money on this, I would go for Malcolm. I mean, he's a versatile striker, 5'10", at the bantamweight division. I mean, I really like his chances in this fight. What do you see in this fight, man?
Yeah, so I'm also a big fan of Malcolm Wellmaker. Recently watched his interview with Ariel Helwani. Just made me a bigger fan of him. Super relatable, down to earth guy too. It seems like he was just as hyped to be on Ariel Helwani's show as he was to meet Joe Rogan in the Octagon. Really cool guy. Really cool to see. Explosive power in his hands. For 2 first-round knockouts. One on the Contender Series, and then one recently against Chris Moutinho. Oh, actually 3, because he also fought Cameron Simon. I will say, though, Cody Haddon is a great opponent for him. Do not sleep on Cody Haddon. The only loss he has is on the regional scene against Steve Erceg, who is like a really elite flyweight at the moment. Yeah. His team is extremely good. Recently, his teammate Quillen Selkilde just got a crazy head kick against
the Australian. Is he the guy with the mustache?
Yep. And the Australians are extremely talented, especially this team, and he's a very good grappler as well. So I think that this fight's gonna be really close. And honestly, like I think Cody Haddon has fought as tough competition as Wellmaker has. So these guys are both going into this as like. This is the biggest competition either of them have ever had. Regional scene, elite guy in Wellmaker, elite regional guy in Haddon, both from different parts of the world, both making a name for themselves. I will say I'm edging it towards Wellmaker, but if Cody Haddon wins, do not be surprised. Wellmaker is definitely a lot more famous, has a lot more hype, but Haddon is a vicious individual.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people just are trying to promote Wellmaker because he has an interesting story, like I said.
And knockout power.
And the knockout power, the striking versatility is there for sure. He's still undefeated. You kind of want to root for the guy to keep going undefeated, but you're gonna lose eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. So, last really quick thing about this fight. I think the odds pretty much perfectly reflect it. -155 to +130. That's basically a pick'em.
Pretty much.
With an edge towards Wellmaker. So, yeah, I'd say Wellmaker is definitely the move for this one. If you were going to bet, but I would put that more in like a parlay or something like that. I would be a little bit more careful. That's my opinion.
All right, up next.
Yeah, you lead this one off.
We got my GOAT, Tracy Cortez, fighting Aaron Blanchfield. I literally don't know anything about Aaron Blanchfield, but I'm rooting for Tracy Cortez for obvious reasons. Latinx power. Let's go.
Oh, my God. Okay, well, I'm just going to put it this way. Tracy Cortez, the first time she was on my radar was when she had fake eyelashes on in the ring.
Oh, I remember that.
And I was just, so, confused why she even had eyelashes in the ring. So to me, it's clear that she doesn't really care about being a champion. She cares about looking good. Why else would you have fake lashes in the ring? They do nothing but make you have visual impairment. So
maybe she's going the Kevin Holland approach and just fighting and getting the popularity and keep signing more contracts.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But Aaron Blanchfield on the other hand, wicked grappling, elite grappling, maybe possibly the best grappling in the division. For a while, she was considered the boogeyman of the division, just tearing through all these girls. She's definitely a lot more elite, in my opinion. So I'm definitely leaning Blanchfield all the way. I think this is going to be a domination. And just like that first fight we talked about, I think the odds are reflecting that. We got one person who's elite, who wants to become champion, and one person who has, as Gabe just put it, the Kevin Holland approach.
Right.
So, Gabe here, he's grinning, he's loving this, and if Tracy Cortez wins, he'll be the first one to tell y'all on our podcast.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think Tracy Cortez is, the perfect fighter or the most complete fighter, but she is pretty good on the ground. I mean, her wrestling is all right, but,
her boxing is, I think, her most, stand-up, her biggest attribute in the stand-up. She has pretty good hands, definitely better than Blanchfield, but, dude, the wrestling difference, the grappling difference between these two girls is just, way higher, if that makes sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if Blanchfield wins a submission victory or decision by the end.
Yeah, that would be my official prediction for this fight. But for Gabe, our hearts for Tracy.
Let's go, Tracy.
Our hearts for Tracy. Moving on to our next fight on the prelims, we got Roman Kopylov versus Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez.
This is a good one, guys.
Gabe, please.
This one is
tell me all about this.
Just first of all, look at this. How are these two guys both in middleweight? First of all, I mean, it's somewhat believable that Kopylov is middleweight, but look at Rodriguez, bro. Yeah. Okay, so he used to be a prison guard. And he
really?
That's how he got the name RoboCop. Oh. So he used to be a prison guard, and he was kind of like the enforcer. He would get you back into your cell and shit.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, he fights with that same kind of that edge.
Yeah.
Right?
He fights like RoboCop would.
Yeah, he cuts you open real bad, and he is merciless. He is violent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm thinking, Kopylov, he's a very versatile guy. He can mix it up with the stand-up game or on the ground. He's better at kicking, I would say, than Rodriguez, but the power in the hands of Rodriguez, I think, is going to be a huge factor in this fight.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, man. I love doing MMA math. A lot of people say it doesn't work. I think it works a lot. Roman Kopylov just lost against Paulo Costa. I think we were watching that fight together.
He got destroyed by
Costa, he just got sniped and picked apart by Paulo, and before that, he got choked out and dominated by Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Gregory Rodriguez, on the other hand, he did lose to Cannonier, but honestly, that made me a bigger fan of Gregory Rodriguez.
He got cut open real bad on his eyebrow. Yeah. You could see a vein pulsing.
Oh, God.
And he just kept fighting.
Yeah, he just kept fighting. And then recently he knocked out Jack Hermanson in emphatic fashion. I think he's just going to march down Roman. Roman is a fighter who likes to play it safe. He's not really a brawler. He likes his distance, and he likes to grapple when he needs to. I think Gregory's just going to shut that down, march him down, and we're going to see a TKO in the second
finish.
round.
I would expect a finish out of this fight. If somehow it does go the distance, maybe that's how Kopylov wins the fight, but if it ends anywhere... So
this is a 3-round fight. The reason I think Jared Cannonier won, the biggest thing about Rodriguez is his gas tank.
Yep.
So another fight of his that I watched was his Jun Young Park fight. He fought the Iron Turtle. Iron Turtle almost beat him just by gassing him out, but he got clipped, which shows how strong Gregory Rodriguez is, because Jun Young Park rarely gets rocked. So Roman's not really a pressure guy. He's not really a attrition guy. So he's not going to be like in RoboCop's face the whole time. I think in the 3-round sprint, Gregory Rodriguez easily all day.
You think even by decision he wins?
Even by decision, I think he's just going to at least win the first 2 rounds. And Roman's just not going to have anything for him.
I can definitely see that.
Because he's more of a tit-for-tat guy. He likes his body kicks. He likes to grapple. He likes to be technical.
Low kicks,
I don't think Gregory's going to let him be technical.
I don't really think he's going to even hurt him that much, even if he does start landing combinations, man.
I agree.
Kopylov really just doesn't have the knockout power or like really like super dangerous power. He's more of a precision striker with like a little bit of submission offense.
Agreed.
So like just based on what we were just talking about, this whole MMA math thing, also just look at the guy.
Yeah.
Just look at the guy. Who do you think is going to win this fight?
Yeah.
I'm going Rodriguez all the way on this one.
Yeah, I totally agree. Moving on, we got the last prelim. We got the prelim main event. Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. Man, I am not a fan of Bo Nickel. I don't know about you. I think that he's full of himself. I think he's delusional. And I know that my opinion is like pretty popular. I'm not saying anything controversial here. Most people clown on Bo Nickel. That being said, I do give him the edge with this fight. Rodolfo Vieira, for those of you who don't know, is an extremely decorated jiu-jitsu guy. He's your classic, remember that like heavyweight Buchecha guy where it's just like terrible striking, but he's going to try to get you to the ground and he's going to try to do his jiu-jitsu. Bo Nickel is still, say what you want about him, one of the best wrestlers in the UFC. Like,
especially like getting the fight to the ground. He's fantastic at that. My only like caveat with him is like he's not exciting once that happens.
Exactly.
Once he gets the top control, like he just stays there and he just gets ground control time. Like he doesn't really ever like transition into like a submission. He doesn't really strike a lot on the ground, not much ground and pound. He just uses his elite wrestling, the American wrestling background that he has. I believe he was like a collegiate champion.
3-time folk style champion, which is I think he's one of the only guys to have ever done that, or maybe the only guy to have ever done that. So
I mean, I'm not questioning Bo Nickel's elite wrestling, but like the jiu-jitsu style, I think even as like so many like fans of MMA or UFC fans in quotes, they complain about jiu-jitsu. If you're able to actually like transition into something when it's on the ground, that's much more exciting to me than just getting the fight to the ground.
Yeah, 100%. And I think another big thing we need to think about here is the Bo Nickel-Paul Craig fight.
Yep.
Paul Craig is also an extremely good jiu-jitsu player. So that fight was just a grappler stand-up fight, right? Sorry, Nick, what were you going to say?
What is folk style? I've never heard that before.
So folk style wrestling, and I'm gonna look this up because I don't want to be wrong. Is like a type of wrestling that's popular in the U.S. versus like Olympic freestyle wrestling. I'm just gonna pull up the difference here.
I've never heard that before.
So, folk style and freestyle allow leg attacks, but the biggest difference is that American folk style rewards control, and freestyle rewards execution, right? So, like, there's like riding time, which is like being able to like be on a guy and like dominate him. That's more like it transitions better to MMA. Versus freestyle, you're just trying to get a guy on his back. You're trying to score points,
just
reset,
pin him down, yeah,
pins. So, Merab actually said the best wrestling style is American, not Dagestani, which is interesting. Not Sambo. That's what he said. He said American style is actually the most important. And this is a whole nother discussion, but Dagestani wrestling, according to Paul Craig, who is a very decorated jiu-jitsu guy, he said that a lot of those Dagestanis actually got that from George St. Pierre in Canada. That style of MMA wrestling.
Then where did George get it from?
He like kind of pioneered it, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm gonna get more into that later on. Probably in another episode. We'll cover the Dagestani Canadian controversy. We can even like pull up that episode. But just going back to the Paul Craig analogy, that fight was just a boring stand-up, right? Neither of them were able to take each other to the ground. They kind of neutralized it. So it was just kind of a bad boxing fight.
Yeah, I remember that was the fight that Bo Nickel, like, he kept, like, he had no setups for his boxing combinations. He just kept throwing right overhand.
Weird overhands.
Right overhead, step back, and right overhand, step back.
Exactly. And I think Rodolfo is going to do some weird moves similar, and it's just going to be a weird tit-for-tat, boring kickboxing fight because neither of us. I bet they're gonna shoot, but they're just gonna reset, like you said, step back, overhand, step. So I don't know. I think Bo Nickal's gonna win by points. He's gonna get showered with booze, and he's gonna be like, "I'm coming for that belt, you guys. I'm freaking coming."
I don't know why like the UFC is promoting him so hard. I mean, like you were saying earlier, like he's kind of full of himself. I don't necessarily agree that he's full of himself, but the UFC sees something in this guy for some reason. I don't know. It's like they really want to have like an American champion. I don't think he's really a champion level fighter though.
Well, I mean, if you watch his interviews and like his podcast clips, like he talks about like back in the day, he was like, I truly think I could beat Khamzat Chimaev. It's like, dude, you cannot.
I didn't see that. I don't believe it.
Cannot beat Khamzat Chimaev. And he said that multiple times. Like, if you put me and Khamzat in a fight, like that's gonna be the. It's like, dude, you haven't even beaten. You can't even beat René de Ritter. Like, what are you talking about? So, anyway, regardless, I still think Bo Nickal's going to beat Rodolfo. But guess what? Imagine Bo Nickal once he gets past Vieira, he goes against a guy like RoboCop.
That's a different
Then
story.
what's gonna freaking happen? You know what I'm saying?
I low key think. I mean, Bo Nickal, he's not like a huge hulking guy. I don't think he really has to even cut weight to get to the middleweight weigh-ins. But I would like to see him at 170. I think he might actually be better at 170 than 185 because the guys at the top of the 185 rankings are monsters. I don't think he really has a chance against any of those
He's just
guys.
too small, man. And I agree. So I think Bo Nickal's, right now he's definitely he has a chance to beat Vieira, but shortly after that, when he gets to the top 10 in the middleweights, I don't even like his chance against MVP.
No, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? An MVP does not wrestle. You know what I mean? That's how an MVP's a 170er. So
I mean, again, it comes back to the whole thing the point I was making, where it's like he gets the fight to the ground, but then nothing happens.
Yes, and imagine him against Sean Strickland. Sean's gonna piece him up.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah. So anyway, I think Bo Nickal wins, but I'm not hyped for him at all.
Bo Nickal will probably win this fight. That's my pick, but I want him to lose.
Yeah, agreed. All right, guys, moving on to the main event. You got the Kaviani Godfather's favorite fighter, the fighter's fighter, Beneil Dariush. Let's go versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Saint-Denis. What do you guys got? Okay. I want to hear the opinions.
I like both of these fighters.
Yeah, me too.
I really like both of them.
I do too.
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to go with Dariush. Just because we need some representation, representative.
Yeah, let's go.
Persians, man, out there. There's not enough Persian fighters.
Yeah, he's a Persian, and you know what? Like, sorry, go ahead, Gabe. I want to hear your opinion on this.
Well, Beneil Dariush is getting older. He's slowing down a little bit, but he's still like super versatile in his overall MMA game. Benoit Saint-Denis, I mean, as much as I love Beneil for like representing Iran, becoming an American, being proud to be an American, also representing his culture, right? I think Benoit Saint-Denis is actually going to win this fight.
Interesting, okay.
I think Benoit Saint-Denis, I think his striking is better, and I think his jiu-jitsu is slightly better.
You think his jiu-jitsu is better?
I think his jiu-jitsu is slightly better.
Than Beneil?
I think Beneil is a better wrestler, but not a jiu-jitsu.
I would have to disagree with that.
Hey, break it down for me, because he's the MMA.
Let me break it down for you. Let me break it down for you. So the first thing, again, you got to go to MMA math.
Go ahead.
Moicano, they had the same opponent. Moicano destroyed Beneil in the grappling, just completely destroyed Beneil, made it a 10-6, right? Like just smashed him. Benoit had no answers for Moicano whatsoever in any of the grappling. On the other hand, Beneil out-scrambled, outworked, and outpaced Moicano in the grappling the entire fight. He won through his grappling because Moicano was actually beating him in the striking. So I do agree with you that Benoit has better striking than Beneil. But people forget, man. Beneil Dariush, before coming to the UFC, was a multi-time jiu-jitsu champion. World champion, right? ADCC champion. Yeah. So his background is jiu-jitsu ace. Benoit, his base is judo, which is better on the clinch, better on the fence. But when it comes to pure grappling, I think Beneil has the edge. And wrestling, though, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say the opposite. So I think wrestling, they're more equal. Jiu-jitsu, Beneil has the edge. I also think Benoit has the edge in the striking, like you just mentioned. So this really is a pretty close fight, as you can see. Benoit is the minus 180 favorite. So I'm actually with you. I think I love you, Beneil. Don't do this to me, man. I'm rooting for Beneil. I actually think he has a really good chance to win this, just based on that Moicano fight. I think Beneil can out-grapple Benoit. But if he's not able to, and it's a stand-up fight, Beneil's chin has been tested, boy. His chin has been tested, and he's been rocked. He got rocked by a straight, I believe it was a right, by Moicano.
Yeah.
And I will say Benoit isn't really known for his boxing. So he's more of a kicker.
Boxing.
He's more of a kicker. He has that really good middle kick. I think he knocked out he knocked someone out with a high kick a while ago.
Can't think of it. It sounds
Matt
familiar.
Frivola. He knocked out Matt Frivola with a high kick, but his hands, not really known for his hands. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna change it right now. I'm gonna lean towards Beneil because I can't root against him. He's one of my favorite fighters.
I'm not gonna root against Beneil. I just think Benoit is gonna win.
And that's very fair. And how would you say he would win this?
Well, I mean, like I was saying, I guess from I'm slightly more of a casual fan of MMA than Juho, but I still watch most of the fights. It says he has a 73% chance to win by submission. If the fight ends in a submission, he has a 73% chance of winning that way. I'm surprised to see that, considering you were explaining how Beneil has the background in jiu-jitsu.
I'll tell you what. The other thing, now that I'm kind of looking at this, these stats actually, is what made me think this. This is probably based on their fights. Benoit has fought way less intense competition than Beneil.
That's true.
The best fighters that Benoit has fought is literally Mauricio Rufy and Moicano. Beneil has only lost against the best. He's beaten guys like Tony Ferguson when he was still kind of in his prime. Beneil's, beaten Mateusz Gamrot. He out-wrestled Mateusz Gamrot, which is one of the elite wrestlers of the lightweight division. So, I don't know. I'm leaning towards Beneil. I think he's going to find a way to get it done. I think he's going to just outwork and out-grapple Benoit. So that's my prediction.
I'm thinking,
and if not, he's going to get pieced up.
At this point in Beneil's career, I don't necessarily see a finish out of him. I think if it does go the distance, I would lean towards Beneil. But if it ends before the time runs out, I would go Saint Denis.
I would completely agree with you on that. So let's put it that way. I think if it goes the distance, Beneil. If it's a finish, probably Benoit. And I'm gonna bet on it going the distance, baby. I'm hoping Beneil Let's go Beneil! I'm sorry, guys. I'm just such a big fan of Beneil. Moving on, we got a huge fight. Oh my god, this might be the sleeper fight.
Okay. I think this is going to be
the next few fights are just going to be insane.
I mean,
the next few fights are just going to be insane, guys.
Okay, so we got Leon Edwards versus Carlos
Prates.
This is
the chain smoker himself.
Premier kickboxing matchup. This is going to be a virtually pure striking match.
Yeah. I think that for this one, we should 3, 2, 1 say who we think is going to win at the same time.
Okay, all right.
3, 2, 1.
Prates.
Let's go, Prates! Yes. I would like to know why you think Prates. Because now the odds are actually saying Prates as well.
Really? I'm surprised to see Prates as actually the favorite. I'm biased, right? I love these kickboxers, these Brazilian kickboxers in particular, who have
the shoot fighter style,
who have a little bit better takedown defense because they, obviously grew up with jiu-jitsu. I think Prates, the star power he has, I think the momentum he's been gaining over the past, year or so is really promoting him to take on a guy like Leon Edwards, who has been a former champion. I think Leon Edwards is the type of guy who does want to prove he's still a top contender at the welterweight division, but I think Carlos Prates just has more of a fire under him that's going to will him to the victory here.
Totally agree with you on that. I think that's one of the main factors is momentum. Momentum's a huge thing. Leon's on a 2-fight loss streak, 2 pretty embarrassing dominant losses, as in he got dominated.
Right.
Carlos Prates, he's on the up and up, just got a crazy spinning elbow against Jeff Neal.
That was nasty.
And even the Ian Gary fight, 2 high-level strikers going at it. Prates had a good showing of himself. He didn't get totally washed. So I totally agree with you on that point, but I'd like to offer you guys one more. Carlos Prates has been striking and going against strikers a lot more recently against his competition, whereas Leon has mostly been going against only grapplers for the better part of his career in the last 4 years. He's gone against Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, Bilal Muhammad, Sean Brady. Those are all elite grapplers. So all he's been doing is wrestling. So maybe like his wrestling could be better than Prates, but I don't think this is gonna be a wrestling fight. I think Prates' anti-wrestling is good enough to keep Leon Edwards from taking him down if that ever happens. And in the actual fight, like when it comes to striking, I think Leon's is gonna be rusty when it comes to a high-level striking match, and I also think Leon's too passive. In a 5-round fight, sorry, he might have a better chance against Prates, but in a 3-round fight, I think Prates is just gonna outwork him and outpoint him. I see this either being a late TKO because Leon starts getting desperate and he's down really heavily on points, or just ends in a decision because Prates is just circling and pinning him.
This is going to be an extremely close fight. I think it could be like a split decision by the end of this fight. I mean, both of these guys do have the ability to end the fight early. I would love to see Prates get a finish on Leon Edwards. Something else I wanted to point out: this whole card is going to be at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Leon Edwards tends to not fight as well when he's like the bad guy. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Carlos Prates, like I was mentioning with the momentum he's gaining with the fans in terms of popularity, I would assume MSG is going to be cheering for Carlos Prates. And I think that might actually discourage Leon Edwards a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great point. Leon Edwards definitely is a fighter who's like swayed by that kind of stuff too. And again, I just think he's passive, and people like to, clown on Prates for losing to Ian Gary. Ian Gary is a high-level striker.
I think he's arguably the most well-rounded fighter in the UFC.
Yeah, right and you could say that about Ian Gary and losing to him. And Prates actually started turning it up that last few rounds when Ian got tired. I also think that Leon got rocked by Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it right there. So yeah, I think Carlos Prates is definitely going to either win by decision, I know you said it was close. I think this might be a Prates school.
You think so?
I think it could be.
I mean, Leon Edwards is that guy. I mean, he was a champion for a reason.
Yeah, he was, but like looking back at those fights, he was fighting he does really well at anti-wrestling and then picking apart grapplers who are trying to strike with him. If you actually look at a lot of his like striking fights, high-level strikers, I feel like he's just not like, he's too passive for a 3-round striking fight.
I mean, and people tend to forget, like, he was losing that fight against Kamaru Usman before he landed that head kick at the end.
Exactly. So, I don't know, man. I think wrestling is not going to be a thing here. And in a pure striking fight, the art of 8 limbs in Brazil is going strong. And I think Prates is going to take that home.
This is going to be a fantastic fight, guys. Y'all better tune in for this one. I'm predicting this is going to be a fight of the night.
Absolutely. All right. Last 3 fights. We got Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. Both guys are absolute dogs.
Yes,
I'm a huge fan of both of these guys. Michael Morales, both of his parents are actually, I think, Olympic level judokas.
Oh, really?
And when he moved to Mexico from Ecuador to pursue MMA, nasty hands, really good. He's like a winner. He finds a way to win. I watched a lot of his fights recently. The Gilbert Burns fight just pretty much out grappled and outshined him. But on the other side, Sean Brady, man. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I think everything I just said about Morales, and I mean it, all of it. I still think Brady's gonna win.
I mean, I really have a hard time picking with these two guys. I mean, Brady's 18-1, and then Morales is 18-0.
Yep,
I don't know
undefeated.
how many fights have either of these guys had in the UFC.
I know for a fact Brady has way more experience than Morales. Morales, I think, has like 3 or 4 fights in the UFC, all wins, and then his biggest fight is Gilbert Burns. I will say, I think Gilbert Burns, he got him at a very old and decrepit age. I think Gilbert's like 39 when he fought Morales. And then Sean Brady, on the other hand, he's fought the
12
who's who.
fights in the UFC already.
Yeah, he's fought the who's who, and the biggest impressive thing for me, dude, the way he handled Leon Edwards. Kamaru couldn't even do that to Leon.
No, he couldn't.
And Sean Brady just did what he wanted with Leon for 4 rounds until he just decided to choke him out. Right? I don't think Michael's wrestling or his jiu-jitsu is gonna be there.
I mean, I don't know enough about Morales to totally criticize him or anything, but based on the experience that Sean Brady has, I would lean towards him if I was gonna put money on it. So Morales has had 5 6 fights
Oh,
in the
6
UFC
fights,
already.
okay.
I'm surprised. I thought, I feel like I would have known more if I watched more of his
Yeah,
fights.
but like just the level of competition is clearly different. I'll put it this way: Morales has a lot of unknowns, but we know what Sean Brady's about. So
I mean, he beat Morales beat Gilbert Burns TKO.
yeah, but Gilbert
was
Burns
old.
at that time was old. He was a little washed. You know, like he's a lot smaller. Brady's smaller in height, but the dude is like, you know, has the craziest looking shoulders I've ever seen for someone his size. Also, Brady's only loss is to Bilal, and you know, I don't know how Morales would do against Bilal at this point. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So I think I'm definitely leaning towards Sean. I think he's going to dominate Morales on the ground, and I think we're going to see a submission finish.
You know, just to be a contrarian, I'm going to go with Morales.
All right.
Just for no reason. I think Morales has something to prove here. You know, like you're saying, he hasn't really had the competition level that Sean Brady has had. So if he does win this fight, it'll be a huge, motivation for him to continue going down the welterweight division. The thing is, welterweight right now is super stacked.
Yeah. And Morales is a huge welterweight, too. That has to be said. So, guys, so far, the only differences we've had is the Morales fight, the Beneil fight, and then the Cortez fight. Cortez. So, you guys let us know what you guys think in the comments. But moving on to the last two fights, we got the championship fights. We got Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko. For these championship fights, I'd actually like to first start, for both of them, with the opinion of super producer Nick. My man Nick. Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. What do you got, brother?
I don't know, man. These are both crazy fighters.
It is. They are.
I want to say I'm leaning towards Shevchenko.
Okay, why are you leaning towards Shevchenko?
I don't know, dude. She just has like a more like ominous presence than Zhang Weili does.
It's just the aura of Shevchenko.
She has too much aura.
Okay.
Zhang Weili doesn't have enough.
That's when they're this high level, sometimes stuff like that really is all that takes the edge. Gabe, what about you, man? What do you see with this?
These are obviously two fan favorites of the UFC. I mean, you can't really go wrong.
Two goats of
you can't really go wrong with either of them if you want to root for them. I think Weili has a little bit more power behind her punches in particular, even though didn't she have to go up a weight class for this fight? So even though she was fighting at a lower weight class previously, I still think she has more power in her hands. Shevchenko, I do think, is more dangerous off her back in the jiu-jitsu situations, and she's better at kicking elbows, knees. I think she is better and like more fluid, faster. But Zhang Weili has more power. So I think if this fight were to have a finish, it would either be a Shevchenko submission or a Weili TKO KO by striking.
Okay, I like that take. Very good analysis from Gabe. I really like what you just said there at the end. I didn't really think about it like that. I wasn't even really thinking about the finish or outcome like that. So, food for thought, y'all. I think you made a very great point. I heard something really interesting that I think you'd like. Shout out to Bedtime MMA. This is where I heard it from. It was that Zhang Weili and Valentina is like Canelo versus Terence Crawford. So both of these fighters, just like Canelo and Terence, pretty much no holes. They're elite everywhere. They're both incredible grapplers and both incredible strikers. Now, when you're both at the elite level, like we just mentioned with Nick, what do we look for that can elevate them just a little bit, right? Because that's all we can look here. When you nitpicking and you're grasping at straws and you're splitting hairs, all you can look at is like the small attributes that are going to set them apart. I think everything is equal with these fighters except speed and power. And both I think Zhang Weili has over Valentina. And the reason I say that is because Valentina's older.
She's older.
And but she's only older by a year. I will say she's only older by a year, but the fact that Zhang Weili is a strawweight and she's moving up, she's going to be faster. I just truly believe she's going to be faster than Valentina. She's fought faster, smaller girls than Valentina. And like you just said, she has power to at least match or rival or even surpass Valentina as well.
I do think like the power advantage does go Weili's way.
Yeah, I agree. But, we can't say because she's smaller. I want to say like it's at least equal or above, right? I'm not going to say it's for sure equal. But I think speed, Zhang Weili is for sure faster.
I think she can maybe close the distance faster, but I don't think her striking is as fast, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I will say, like, Valentina's a counter striker, so she doesn't really like to go for it. And, man, this is so sad to say. Valentina's my favorite female fighter of all time.
Probably
I like
mine
her.
too.
I like her more than Zhang Weili, but just where they're at in their careers, Zhang Weili has put on dominant performances in the last few fights, whereas Valentina has barely edged them out. She's winning by points. She's winning a lot by like split decision, right? Ties, and like I just think that we're seeing her past her prime. You know, she's not the same Valentina.
I mean, Weili is still on the way up, and Shevchenko is like, you know, the gas tank is running low. It's not quite done yet. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, who is there left for Shevchenko to fight? I mean, that's
the thing about both of these women.
Right.
There's no one left for either of them to fight, but the way that they have done their work, I think Weili's been a little bit more impressive. So the way I don't know what's gonna happen. I truly don't know I can't make an outcome like you did. All I'm gonna say is that I think it's gonna be a decision, and I think it's gonna go Zhang Weili, whether it's unanimous or split. I think it's gonna be a decision
I have a hard time
fight.
arguing with that. I mean, this is a 5-round fight, right?
Yeah.
It's a championship fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it might come down to, you know, late 4th round, 5th round. If Shevchenko is really showing her age, maybe she's getting tired. Maybe that'll make a difference. If, like, you know, Weili, if she's faster, if she's stronger again, will she gas out by volume? I mean, like you said, Shevchenko is more of a counter striker. She picks her spots differently than the way Weili kind of initiates. She is kind of slightly more of like a head-on type of fighter, in my opinion. I mean, I really want Shevchenko. I don't know. I mean, I think Shevchenko could win this, but like it's not clear for me. I think Shevchenko maybe by points or Weili with a finish. I'm gonna stick with that. That's my prediction.
Fair. I'm gonna, I think that's very fair. I'm not saying again, Shevchenko is my favorite fighter. I'm not saying if she wins, I'm gonna be surprised. I can also see her just being too big for Zhang, and in those clinch situations, her just dominating. But I think Weili is as strong. I just can't. I don't know. I don't think Shevchenko's gonna have a huge size advantage.
I mean, it's only a 1-inch height difference. Yeah. It's a 4-inch reach advantage.
Yeah.
2-inch leg reach.
And Weili, she's just explosive, man. I don't know. I'm gonna go Zhang, but I think that Valentina is too good to get finished. So
I mean, do you think this could potentially be a Shevchenko retirement fight?
I think if she loses, she's gonna want a rematch, and if she loses the rematch, then that's gonna be it.
But if she wins in Madison Square Garden, what better place is there to retire?
I know, but I think Shevchenko is one of those fighters. She's a gamer. She's just gonna go. She wants to cement herself. So yeah. She's just gonna keep racking up until she can't win anymore. She wants to beat Nunes.
Live by the sword,
yeah,
die by
the sword. Exactly, and that's why we love the bullet, y'all. All right, moving on.
Oh my god, bro! Another
Last fight, guys. I'm so excited.
Dude,
I'm so excited.
This is gonna be nuts.
I'm just gonna play this really quick to show you who I think's gonna win. All right, mate. Yeah, I truly think I can beat them. You know, I've been training real hard. I know they have a strong team, but yeah, I think I'm gonna nick them. Yeah, baby, JDM, mate.
Okay, so you're going Jack Della.
Going JDM off rip, baby.
Okay, I obviously think so. Just to make it more clear, the main fight is Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Makhachev's welterweight debut. Again, I'm telling you how stacked this welterweight division is. Now you have the monster in Islam. In my opinion, already one of the goats of the sport. I mean, obviously, I think Islam's a better wrestler. I mean, you can argue with me in a second.
He's a better wrestler. I don't know why I did that. He's a better.
I mean, one of the best wrestlers of all time. But I mean, and he's good at striking. He doesn't really have like a huge weakness in the striking department. But Jack Della is one of those guys in the UFC that you don't want to box with. You do not want to box with Jack Della. 5'11" to 5'10". I mean, obviously we know how dominant Islam was at the 155 lightweight division, going up to 170. Will there be a power drop off? That's the thing I'm going to be looking for. I saw Islam like in a training video like a couple months ago. he got on a scale and he was like 190 something pounds. So he was already going down from 190 to 155 previously. Now he's going from 190 to 170. I mean, I think that's mostly going to just be water weight he's going to shed, and he's not going to have to lose any like solid mass. So I don't know if we're really going to see a huge power drop off, but that is the thing I'm going to be looking at the most for this fight. Man, two guys I really love. I honestly I can't see anyone beating Islam at this point of his career. I think, like you're saying, Weili is still on the way up. I think Islam is still at the top of the mountain right now in his prime.
So, I'll put it this way, man. This is another one of those fights that you really have to look at other fights for, right? You have to look at opponents that they've fought.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Islam Makhachev.
Sure.
Islam recently, looking at just stylistic style matchups with Jack, we got Volkanovski because they're Australian and they train together, right? Okay. So you have a similarity there, and you have Dustin Poirier, right? Dustin Poirier, I'm going to start with that one, gave Islam a hell of a fight. Islam could not keep Dustin down for long in many stretches of that fight. Dustin gave Islam a lot of problems in the stand-up, in the boxing, and Islam's cage side control is extremely good, but Dustin was able to at many times reverse that position and make that a dogfight. And yeah, Islam is a champion. He's a one of the best of all time, and he found a way to win that. But Dustin, I just wanted to preface, made that a lot more difficult than anyone thought he would, right? After that Khabib fight.
I remember there was a really interesting sequence where Dustin reversed the fight when they were back against the cage, and he had a couple of really nice punches that almost rocked Islam.
There you go. So that's one example, right? And then another example I'm going to give is Volkanovski, and I'm going to specifically use that first fight because the second fight I don't think it's fair. Volkanovski took that off the couch in a week against Islam. So I don't really count that fight, but that first fight that he got
Who else
right.
would do that?
But Volk, that first fight gave Islam so many problems, specifically in the grappling. Islam just didn't have the wherewithal to submit him at all in that fight. Volkanovski, he did get controlled, but he wasn't ever in a submission danger. He got his back taken, but even at 5th round, he had Islam on his back, and he was ground and pounding him. So Islam, at the lighter weights, still had trouble at the elite level controlling guys as well as we thought. JDM is way bigger than them, and he's fought grapplers bigger, specifically Bilal. Bilal's wrestling, I think, is as good as Islam's in pure wrestling. Maybe not grappling, as in sambos, trips, judo, jiu-jitsu, throws. I think Islam hasn't beat in all those areas. But just the able to control and get someone to the ground, I think Bilal's level is just as high for that specific skill.
Okay, I mean that's arguable, but
Bilal was a champion, and he
Briefly.
made a living off of grinding guys out and living in the wrestling department. Right? You guys are both gay. And so basically when it came to actually measuring the takedown defense, I think JDM is going to be able to reverse the positions because he's been able to show that he's been able to do that against bigger guys. I think he's going to be able to keep this on the feet with Islam, just like Poirier did, because he's a bigger Poirier.
Islam does not want to keep it on the feet with this guy.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have to. I think when Islam shoots, I think JDM is going to be able to reverse, take that down, just like Volk did. But I think he's going to give Islam a lot more problems on the feet than Poirier did. So that's where I'm going for. I think this is going to be a stand-up fight because Jack's going to keep it there. And in that boxing, I think he's going to damage Islam in a 5-round fight.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that Jack is better than Dustin Poirier in boxing. Would you?
I would say it. Yeah, so? I would absolutely argue that. 100% I would argue that. Yeah.
Because, I mean, I thought Dustin, in his prime, it's how old was Dustin when he fought Islam? It was the later part of his career. Yeah, it was the later
part of his career, but, I mean, I'm saying it's as good or better. There's no saying Jack's worse.
It's very close. It's very close. I mean,
Jack is some of the best boxing ever, too.
And probably the best current boxer besides is him and Max Holloway.
Yeah, and he's bigger and stronger than Dustin. People forget. He's a welterweight. Dustin was always a lightweight.
Oof, man, this is gonna be such a great fight. I mean, I'm having a hard time choosing. I mean, I'm thinking Islam, if he is able to get it to the ground, that will be key.
Right.
But again, with the point I made earlier, what will the power difference look like going up to welterweight?
I think Islam, like I'm gonna make an outcome thing like you just did earlier. If Islam is going to win, it's gonna be in the early rounds, 1 or 2, and it's going to be because he dominates Jack on the ground. And if that happens, I was proved wrong, and I'm gonna look like an idiot. But if Jack's able to survive, reverse, keep it on the feet, rounds 3, 4, 5, I think he's gonna piece Islam up. Islam's gonna get tired. He's gonna wilt, and we're gonna see a side of Islam that we've never seen, a side that cannot take Jack down. And is getting pieced up with his hand.
I do think Islam will at least get the fight to the ground at least one time.
Yeah, I think he will too. But, I think...
keep it there?
So the other thing people don't realize is Australians are specifically incredibly good at cage-side wrestling defense.
Okay,
guys like Robert Whittaker. Guys like Israel Adesanya. Anzac. I'm going to say Anzac region, right? Alexander Volkanovski. Australians are extremely underrated at specifically on the fence wrestling, right?
Interesting.
Not out in the open.
I never thought about that.
Like, and I'm like in MMA, right? Like you have like in the middle where you're like shooting double legs, and then you have on the fence where you're clinching, grabbing. Australians are some of the best cage side guys, and honestly, Islam isn't very good at open wrestling. He's better at cage wrestling, which plays into Jack's strength in his wrestling. Right, in his wrestling defense.
Okay.
So I think that Islam's going to want to take it to the fence, but Jack's going to want to take it to the fence too if he needs to. So that's another reason I think, the more and trust me, I've been analyzing this fight. I'm a big Islam guy. If Islam wins, one of the GOATs already. But just analyzing the footage, analyzing, all of the different outcomes here, I just think that Jack's going to be able to keep it on the feet.
So ESPN has this fight at minus 285 for Islam.
Fair.
Plus 230 for Jack. If the fight ends up with a finish, it's a 67% chance that it goes Jack's way with a KO or TKO. And if it's a submission, it's a 48% for Islam. Hard to argue against that. Obviously, I obviously think Jack is much better in the boxing department. I think Islam, he has a more versatile striking package.
He's a good striker for a grappler.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the thing I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Again, I will not stress it enough. The power is what's going to determine this fight.
Yep.
Power in the striking, power in the wrestling, power in the submission attempts.
And I think the only thing I would disagree with by this win by is the decision. I think if it goes to decision, I think Jack has a better chance of winning. I think the
just
best
by
way
punches,
is I think the best way Islam has to win is through dominant grappling. He just needs to make like Jack look like he's a Habib victim. You know what I mean? Oh my god, I can't say anything in front of you guys. Nick, before we wrap this up, you got anything to say about this main card, my man?
No, y'all pretty much got it for me.
All right, well, I think you're gonna lean towards Islam then on that last one, or Jack.
I would lean.
Something.
I didn't even see the odds before, until I just said it a minute and a half ago. I do think Islam wins this just based on how invincible
he seems.
Invincible he has been up until this point. Jack is a better striker. I don't agree that it's... I'm taking your side with the fact of if it goes to decision, I do think Jack will land a lot more strikes.
Yeah.
But will that be enough to win the fight if it goes to distance?
That's a good point, and that's a great question, and again, I also wouldn't be surprised if Islam just gets on top and just grounds and pounds this guy too. God damn it, you guys! Why this episode?
You did that one to yourself.
No, I did. All right. Well, guys, there's the predictions. We hope you guys liked it. We had a great time, making this episode. We're really excited for this fight. Card, like I said, one of the best ones of all time that we've seen and that we've been a part of. We're definitely gonna keep an eye out for the prelims and the early prelims. And we'll let you guys know next time with all the reactions, and hope you guys also leave some fan engagement, both in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. And there's a new thing called Hype. I don't know if you guys have seen this on YouTube.
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
So, hyping obviously super duper helps our channel. We'd love for you guys to do that. And yeah, You want to close us out, bro?
Tune in UFC 322 in Madison Square Garden, New York City. Go New York, go New York, go New York, go New York, go! Shoot or shoot.
Catch you on the flip side.